and welcome back to episode 2 of Talking Threads, the Textile Innovation Show, with me, Jessica Owen.
And me, Fiona Harron.
This week's show is sponsored again by Bain and Company, a global management consultancy firm who is partnering with WTIN on its Global State of Supply Chain Traceability Survey. To participate in the survey, you can click the below link, which will also be available on the Talking Threads homepage.
Yes, now in this week's news, Enotech, a clean tech foundry accelerating research from Stanford University, recently unveiled Life Labs, the commercialisation of textile patents from Stanford's Advanced Materials Laboratory. Life Labs and the Life System of Textiles are set to introduce a unique suite of intellectual property and patents addressing people's environments from mobility to home to work to sport.
Elsewhere, researchers from the Pennsylvania State University have led 2 international collaborations to prototype a wireless wearable transmitter, while also improving the transmitter design process. The transmitter, which can send wireless data at a range of nearly 300 feet, can easily integrate a number of computer chips or sensors. And with further research, it could have applications in health monitoring and clinical treatments, as well as energy generation and storage.
ASICS has launched its new Earth Day pack, the brand's most planet-friendly cross-category collection to date, having been created using a circular manufacturing approach that saw around 5 tonnes of textile waste, the equivalent of 25,000 t-shirts recycled into new shoes. The line includes many popular products from across ASICS running, court and sport style ranges, as well as a wide range of clothing. ASICS President and COO Yasuhito Hirota said, by continuing to innovate the manufacturing process across all our product categories, we can help build a circular economy and mitigate the impact of climate change.
And finally, the polyolefin producer Borealis has commenced a new project to secure an increased supply of chemically recycled feedstock for the production of more circular-based chemicals and polyolefin-based products. A feasibility study for a chemical recycling unit to be established at the Borealis production location in Sweden is now underway. Provided a successful feasibility study and final investment decision, operations are expected to begin in 2024.
Now on to today's show, and earlier this week, Otis Robinson spoke with Matthijs Crietee from the International Apparel Federation to discuss its digital fabric roadmap that has been developed to highlight challenges and opportunities in the application of 3D garment simulation technologies within the textile and apparel industry.
Could you tell us a little bit more about how garment simulation technologies are used and why the digitalization of garments is growing in the industry?
This is one of the 6 priority issues for 2021. It is because we think it really helps to improve the operation of the entire industry. So digitalization across the board, if we're talking about what happens on the retail end, if we talk what happens in supply chains and improving the supply chain relations between buyers and suppliers, a correct implementation of this technology will have positive effects for all of these.
Fantastic. So how will the International Apparel Federation support the use of these technologies?
So what we do is about getting people involved, getting our membership involved, explaining to them the importance of this initiative, linking organizations. Maybe one of our members in Australia is working on this topic in such a way that we think, oh, the guys and girls in Germany and the Netherlands could learn from that. Bringing the topic up in the webinars or physical events that we organize. But another very important one is standardization and harmonization, because that's something that you could expect from a global federation, that it would be looking out for the way the industry as a whole on a global level communicates.
So when we think about the end goal, how might garment simulation technologies change the industry for the better?
Well, there are many advantages. So if you start on the retail end, you can imagine whenever you can actually show something to a consumer that doesn't exist yet, you don't have to spend, doesn't take all of the resources it takes now, because what you can do is if you find that the consumer likes it, then you start producing it. So you don't waste resources on making something that nobody's really, you find out nobody's really interested in, right? So that's a big gain. So that's how it's already changing the industry, and this can be on a smaller scale, sort of made to measure, but it can also be like the predominant business model. If you are a supplier and you work in a more integrated way with your client, you are really part of the product development team, then it's more easy or let's put it the other way, it's much less easy for your client to dump you in favor of another supplier and to just hop from the cheapest supplier to the next cheapest supplier, because you as a supplier are then sort of integrated into the core system of your buyer, and much more difficult to replace. So we hopefully this will help to get a less transactional type of industry to a more collaborative type of industry. So the nice thing about digitalization is that both digitalization requires a more collaborative approach, but it also fosters a more collaborative approach. And if you've got that kind of relation, you can sort of, where we've been looking at spirals downwards in terms of price, discounts, even cheaper, discounts, even cheaper, we might get more spirals upwards.
Thanks again to the IAF for speaking with us. As digital twin and simulation technologies gain more traction in manufacturing, this seems to be a step in the right direction.
Yes, especially as industry adapts to new demands for interoperability in the COVID-19 pandemic. It's great to hear there are efforts to standardise communication within the supply chain.
Now it's time for a short video from this week's sponsor, Bain and Company. And after that, we'll be speaking with ProWeave about its new unique and patented jacquard weaving technology.
At Bain, we believe bold steps, and those who take them, define the future. We seek out people who defy the perception of their own limits, those with the ambition to lead and courage to adapt. Because those who leave an enduring mark are the ones who see the world differently and challenge themselves to be exceptional. We walk that path with our clients every step of the way. We help them see their future in a new light, discover opportunities they may never have imagined, and deliver results that create even greater possibilities. This is where aspiration meets innovation, where candor fuels collaboration, and impossible surrenders to teamwork. With energy, with purpose, with a passion for what we do, we champion the bold to achieve the extraordinary.
Now, next up, I recently caught up with Paul Jackson, who is the Business Acceleration Leader for ProWeave, a new jacquard weaving technology developed by Texon. Here's what Paul had to say about this game-changing development.
So ProWeave then, can you explain a bit more about what it is, how it works and why it is just so unique?
Well, the jacquard kind of weaving process is well known also. It's been around for many years. There's also like dobby weaving as well. And there's also knitted as well, if you know that on the market as well. So there's many variations of textile fabrics. What makes ProWeave different, and with the Texon sort of heritage and knowledge of structural components, and also our division in Italy, in Prato, which is kind of the textile capital of the world still, we've kind of enhanced kind of the standard jacquard weaving with creative Italian sort of typical technology and innovation, and working with the machines and working with the yarns to kind of enhance different characteristics, attributes, and key features. So it's kind of, it's not totally new, but it's enhancing and taking it to another level that's making it unique with the yarns and the actual machinery.
Yeah, I read that you can create all sorts of things like elasticity and abrasion zones all within one sort of section. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, we're focused on footwear, but it also can work in bags and clothing as well, apparel. So what else is unique about it, and the innovation, is that a lot of brands traditionally build their products with 3 or 4 different materials from 3 or 4 different suppliers to get these different kind of functionality, you know, fitting, comfort, stretch, support, reinforcement. So combining all of our knowledge in structural and textile, technical fabrics, the textile that we've created is we've created kind of zonal technology, where adapting the machine and adapting creative yarns is combined together, enables you to give and enhance different functionalities within the same upper. So you can go from sort of abrasion to flexibility, breathability, stretch, different kinds of stretch percentage. So you can combine that all in one upper, where before you had to build that separately with different materials that do different jobs. Because of the technology, it can be seamlessly changing from one thing to another, including aesthetically. So it's really giving a lot of design freedom with developers and designers to incorporate all they need in one kind of product. And on top of that, with engineering the yarns, the big plus is that you can combine and incorporate sustainability yarns into this as well. So it's got a green element to it as well, which is part of the Texon DNA as well.
Great new development there by Texon. We'll have to keep an eye out for new product launches that have utilised ProWeave to see how they've taken advantage of the technology.
Definitely. Considering the many design opportunities that Paul highlighted there should be some really exciting innovations to come.
Yes, and that's it for today, I'm afraid, but don't forget to join us again next week, when we'll be joined by some new guests to talk about other recent developments from across the textile and apparel industry.
We look forward to seeing you then.